All right, welcome to episode 3 of Two Girls Trying Not to Quit podcast. And today we have a very special topic. We're going to be talking about goals. Isn't that right, Audrey?
Yes, one of my most exciting things around this time of year. Figuring out what exactly I want to do with my life.
Right? Honestly, that's a very good question, everything. But before we get into specifics, I want to start about, like, for example, like, what was your perception of goals before you did work on yourself? Like, I know we both worked with mentors, we both been on many conferences, obviously worked on ourselves, read books, watched podcasts, seen TED Talks, a lot of things. And this contributes, of course, to our knowledge that we have right now. But where were we at before? Like what was your perception and goals?
Yeah, I love that question because it wasn't something I've actually thought about was the difference in how I used to set goals. But before, if I go back to the first time I probably really realistically set goals was high school. And they were either very, very short term, like, cool, these are the things I want to get done tomorrow or today, or extremely long term. Like, I remember being in freshman year of high school prepping my senior year presidential speech,
Oh
of which
my.
I didn't even give. And that was like a
What?
reality of like, all right,
You
we need
didn't give
to,
it? Wait, was that like your first failure, not achieving your goal?
that was not my first failure of life, unfortunately. But as a side note, I don't think you actually know this. I actually never graduated high school.
What?
I
Wait,
am,
I did not know that. We need to go into that in another episode.
I was about to say, that's a topic we probably should come back to because it's a long story,
Yeah,
but
let's write it
kind of a
down.
little
We'll come
fun
back to
fact.
that.
Anyways, what was your perception before
Yeah,
you did the work on yourself?
of course. So the first time that goals were ever brought to me was when I started network marketing, which I don't do anymore, by the way, but I was in network marketing for 3 years and I was working with amazing mentors. I actually owe them a lot of who I am as a person today to them, to what they taught me. And they worked with me when I was really young. I was 19 when I met them. And I remember we were sitting at a Panera Bread and we were doing like a dream planning session, right? To see what I wanted in life. And they asked me, okay, so what do you want? Like your wildest dreams. And I was like, nothing. Legit blank, blank. And they were like, okay, but what type of house do you want? What do you want the color to be? What do you want the neighborhood to be? I was like, I have no idea. Okay, what car do you want? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't care about cars. I didn't know. And I actually had to do a little digging as to why that was. So, like, why I didn't want anything. And it's because I came from Cuba. I moved from Cuba to the US when I was 16. And I realized, and that was actually the saddest thing that I've realized in my life, that people in Cuba don't have the ability to dream. Like, we are capped.
Oh,
No, really, it's really sad when I thought about it. We are capped because the biggest dream a Cuban has is to leave Cuba. Like, that is all you can think about. When you live in Cuba, you don't get enough space in your brain to think about anything else other than where's the food gonna come today? Like, am I gonna have food on the table or am I not? And legit, the only dream they have that we had was leave Cuba. And then I realized that and I was like, oh my God, like I need to really start paying attention to what it is that I want now that I have the opportunity to build the life that I want thanks to this country and the opportunities. So yeah, that was my my perception.
that's a big change than where you're at now.
Yes. Okay. So what changed for you? Did you first started to seeing goals like, okay, I'm gonna plan them? Like, was it a mentor? Somebody told you? You read about it? What happened there?
I feel like there wasn't a necessarily a moment where all of a sudden it was like, wow, I need to start prepping goals. It was definitely a slow grow where it's
Yeah.
just like the goals started changing. I started getting like a realistic view. And then books definitely helped, Atomic Habits. And I was like, okay, cool. You're
That's
diving
a
into
really
like
good
some
one.
more, yeah, some better like intention setting. And then really last year, especially the mastermind with Shelby and just being able to learn more of like visualization. Oh my goodness. Visualization goals.
Okay, so for people that are actually listening to this, before we started the podcast, we were like, when we hit record, we're like, okay, so we don't know how to talk now. Like, what are we doing?
It's like, what are words now?
I know, like we certainly forget how to talk. Well, we're getting better little by little. Just bear with us.
Yeah, to be fair, I feel like in some moments, especially when I'm tired, I have a little bit of a speech impediment.
You don't. Don't
It's
speak that over
something that
yourself.
it's something that I've worked on actually. I had it in the past. It's so much better now. Also, a story for another time.
Okay.
Let's do like a little side, like a whole side story episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, Shelby's thing where she had all these different speakers come in and talk about different areas of your life, of mindset,
Right.
finances, health. Because for me, goal setting was just career or
Mm-hmm.
education. But there's
Yeah.
all these other bubbles also to focus on.
Area of your life. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's slowly been developing. And even this year, last year I just did a vision board and I was like super excited about it. And so much of my vision board came true. But I didn't
Oh.
write down my goals and didn't like, I did have a sheet that I broke it down quarterly,
Hmm.
but I didn't keep that sheet either. So I'm like, oh, I should have. So this year I'm setting things a lot differently.
This year we're ready. We're prepared. You
Yeah,
have a whole Canva presentation.
it's
You're
written
ready.
down. I have it in front of me.
Yes, I was actually going to go into that a little bit later. But okay, the two people that actually helped me the most when it came to setting goals and the whole idea of it, because again, it was super weird to me just thinking of goals, was what's her name? Teresa Villefoy. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a motivational speaker, and I mean, she's amazing. She's written multiple books. And Brian Tracy. I'm sure you've heard of him. Yeah. So Brian Tracy and Teresa Villefoy. Teresa Villefoy, it was because my very first conference that I ever attended, she was one of the speakers. And she changed, honestly, my life. From hearing her talk and seeing her morning routine, she's very into routines and goals and writing them down. And I remember she said, okay, every day, every morning, one of my habits that I do in the morning is write my goals down. The first time I heard that, I was like, wow, that's so stupid. Why would you ever do that? Why are you writing the goals down? What's the purpose? But then I learned it's because I'm sure you've heard of the reticular activation system that we have in our
Yeah.
brains. It's imagine you buy a red car, now you're seeing red cars everywhere, right? Like something activates in your brain when you're actively looking for it. So that happens when you write them down. So if you have, let's say, I don't know, three goals, five goals, whatever, and you write them down each morning and at night again, you're not going to have the shiny object syndrome. I don't know if you've heard this, but the shiny object syndrome is, let's say I want to, I don't know, let's say my one of my goals is buy a house and I see something and I'm like, "Oh no, wait, I want to invest in multifamily right now. I don't want to buy a house anymore." Oh no, wait, I want to actually invest in, I don't know, a lawnmower. I don't know what that came to my mind. Whatever it is, that happens when you don't focus on the goals that you originally set them to, because you set them for a reason. So to not deviate from whatever goals you set to begin with, you need to write them down every day so you can see them, and so you're aware and I can actually see the opportunities that have to do with these goals, not with something else. And that was one of the best things that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
pretty
then
cool.
Brian Tracy, I mean, he's just amazing. All his books. He has a really long YouTube video. We might link it on our page on Instagram, the two girls trying not to quit Instagram, so that people can listen to it. Because, we're just talking about our experience and we're not Brian Tracy. We're not Mel Robbins.
Not
We're just
experts, just
talking,
two
we're
girls.
talking exactly. We're talking from our experience, but there, if you want something very specific that can help you, there Brian Tracy has a YouTube video and it talks about the 12 steps on how to set specific goals. And one of my methods that I like to set goals is using the SMART method. I'm sure you've heard of it. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, Audrey, when you learned that and you actually started implementing like goal setting in your life, like how did you do it? What are some mistakes that you made maybe along the way? Some goals that you write down and you maybe didn't hit? Like, just talk a little bit about that.
So one of the new things that I did this year was actually looking back at last year to actually evaluate things because I
Mm.
would write all these goals and you'd have the vision board and not everything happens. You want to have big goals, you know? And so the technique was to go through your camera roll and search, like just month by month, kind of evaluate what went good, what went bad, what did you achieve, how did you feel, but really stepping into a point of gratitude of like, cool, these were the things that I did do and were successful, and just also remembering the year. Like my memory's a little bad, so
Right.
it's nice to go back and be like, wow, these were the things that I
Yeah.
achieved. Because I'm stuck in a very much future mindset, and that's one of my goals this year is to just
Right.
stay in the present, stay in gratitude, and not focus so much on the future or the past.
Right. No, I love that. One of my
Yeah.
one of my favorite quotes is like if you live in the past, you have depression, like that gives you depression. If you live in the future, you live in anxiety, but if you live in the present, you live in peace. Love that.
Yeah. We're wanting peace this year. A couple of the bigger goals, which some of them are carrying over to this year, I wanted to hit my first like 20K month. And I
Right.
wasn't specific about it because technically I did. But my goal actually up here in my mind was I wanted to hit my first 20K month specifically just in high ticket commissions. And I wasn't as
Mm,
specific. I hit a 20K month, which was awesome, but it was all of my jobs combined.
yeah.
So we're being more specific this year. I will hit my 20K specifically in high ticket
And high
commissions.
ticket sales.
Um, the one that I didn't start at all.
The one that got left behind.
It's still on my whiteboard. It's still there. I'm just gonna change it from 2025 to 2026. Um,
I've
I
done that before.
I was like,
I think
well,
we've all done it. I think we've all done it.
she was just forgotten about, which it happens. But 2 years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I wrote a children's book with my sister. She did all the illustrations and did the story, and I wanted a sequel to it because, long
Yeah.
story short, it's an egg that turns into a duck, so the sequel would be the little duck story. TBD on exactly what that looks like,
That's so
but
cute.
I know I was like, I should have done this year. It's just like a for fun project, so will probably come out Easter 2027 timeframe.
Okay,
But
everybody, stay tuned for the little dog coming on
now that it's
Easter
out
in
there,
2026. Let's keep Audrey accountable. Everybody, flood her DMs with
it's
when's
gonna
the
be
little
like, so
dog
where's
coming
that?
out.
Now I have to do it. But I would love to know too, because that's one of I think my favorite things of getting like realistic. Because everyone's like, "Wow, I accomplished all these things. All these goals I had." But it's really there's two sides to it. So, would love to know on your end too. Was there anything
Mm,
that you really wanted to achieve in 2025, or it's just like it just didn't happen?
Let me think. Honestly, 2025 was the best year of my life.
Okay,
Like
that's great.
to a T, it was so good. And now I'm gonna say something. You might set goals and you might work for them and you might hit them. And the reason why you set that goal might change and it might not happen. And that's totally okay. Because that was one of the things that happened to me in 2025. I had this goal of just working remotely because I wanted to move to Spain to help my dad and because my sister lives in Spain. And I wanted to bring my dad to Spain and help her out because she couldn't just bring him on her own. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna move to Spain. I'm gonna help my dad. I'm gonna live there, I don't know, a couple of years and then come back, or I don't know, who knows? Maybe I can marry in Spain and just stay.
A
You never
European man we
know.
love.
You never know. But actually, and I worked so hard for half of 2024 and 2025 to achieve that, and I did. Like I did February 2025. I achieved my goal of working remote. But then my dad did not want to go to Spain at all. And I was like, okay. Then my plans changed because I had this very specific goal that all of my life was centered around. Because of course, I didn't had any solid plans in the US, or I didn't want to make plans because I was not going to stay. Then when that didn't happen, I was like, okay, I get to, refocus, realign, and see what else I want to do. And it turned into the craziest, best, most fun year I've ever had. So yeah, but something that I do want to say, like some mistakes that people might make that I definitely made when setting goals and working towards them is be very careful and work in the beginning when you're setting the goals, work on getting rid of any limiting beliefs that might affect your goal setting, because this is something, maybe you want something and your own limiting beliefs make you play small and make you actually make the big goal that you had a lot smaller because you think you're not going to be able to hit it. Don't do that. I've done that. I've been there. It doesn't work. And this is something that I learned from Brian Tracy. He always says, dream and set up your goals like you don't have any limitations. You have all the time in the world, you have all the resources in the world, you know all the people needed to get the goal. You have everything to get that goal. That's how you set it. You don't set it by saying, "Oh no, you know what? I only have this amount of money, so I'm not going to put this right now. You know what? I only have this amount of time to work on this, so obviously no, like I can do this." Like, yeah.
That pink Lamborghini, it may have to wait until another year, but
Exactly. And it might seem crazy to you when you put it down on paper. You might laugh and be like, never actually hidden this, but you can do that. Don't play it small.
it's on my vision board.
Put on paper what you actually want and roll with it and start writing them every single day. And now my let's go now into like actual specific steps on like what we've learned and how we do it now. After getting rid of the limiting beliefs, now the way I like to break it down is, of course, you have like your goals for the year. I like to break it down into quarters. And that's my favorite thing, honestly, that I found to like actually have goals is quarter to quarter, like 3 months in 3 months. Because you can just break it. A year is like way too much time. You
Hmm.
might think you have all the time in the world and start procrastinate and not actually see any movement. But if you
Yeah,
break down your big goals for the year into quarterly goals, that's way more attainable and it gives you way less time than you think to actually take action and move towards it. And when you come to see it's the end of the year and you've actually achieved everything, but it didn't
it's
feel
like
like a
a
lot because it was you broke it down into little pieces that you've been working on little by little. And then you broke it down into a quarter, then the quarter you break it down into monthly, and then the month you broke it down into a week, and the weekly into daily, and that's it. It's a little bit each day that adds up.
yeah. It's like when you start a semester and you get that end of the year project, and it's like, cool. I'm gonna wait till the last month to figure that out. Well,
You
if you
know,
just do yearly goals, you're gonna wait till the last bit to be like, oh, I
yeah.
should start working on this now
Yeah,
versus
honestly, the school
digestible
goal,
goals.
yes, the school goal is not a really good example for me because I was the type of person I got a project on a day and the day after it was done. Like I'm that type
Yeah.
of person.
I'm like a mixed type A, type B person. Some stuff I'm very type A, and then like this morning, I like 20 minutes till my flight was gonna be
I'm
closed. I was
so
just hanging out
glad.
in the TSA line.
Audrey, I am so glad you brought that up because I was just gonna say to everybody out there, Miss Audrey Bakerson gets late to every single airport ever. And
But I always
somehow
make it.
she makes it.
There was
Girl,
only
you
one
have,
time.
I don't know how. Because
It was like 4 minutes until the boarding doors were going to close, and I was in the TSA line. And I was like, wow. And I just raised my hand, and this guy came over. I was like, wow, that worked. And I showed him my phone. I was like, is there any way that I could perhaps get through this line? I messed up. Frankly, I really messed up. And he just escorted me. I mean, probably a little bit of pretty privilege, but also if you don't ask, you don't receive.
right.
I'm pretty lucky when it comes to that. I don't do it at really big airports though. I do it at airports I do know. So there is like,
You can get your way.
yeah,
Let's just say
I know
that.
my way around.
No, no, no. I could never. I could never. If we ever travel together, your ass is getting up
I'll be
like
like, I'll see you
three
there in a
hours
little bit.
before.
I'll check
No,
everything.
no. 3 hours before we're
Oh,
gonna be
jeez.
at the gate.
Oh, jeez. What we're going to do the whole time. That's like an
Talk,
extra 2 hours and 40
talk, make
minutes.
videos, listen to music, people
Sure, we can
watch. I
burn
don't
through time
know.
pretty quickly.
Normal people. Normal people. Okay, we're
Back on track.
deviating. We're deviating from the purpose of this podcast.
Yes.
Okay, I just mentioned what worked for me and what's working for me now. What's working for you now?
I do something very similar. This year, because I was so career oriented, I broke it up into different segments. So, looking at physical, mental health as a category, personal growth, adventure, hobby type category, connection community, and then career and wealth. So, that way it's just like looking at my goals overall versus just being really very career focused. So that was nice. I got to explore a little bit further, and then I do break it up by quarters. So I have my vision board. That's the year, everything visualized, which on paper I have now, actually broken into subsets, and then I break down it into quarters. and any of like the big longer goals, like for instance the book is going to take a little bit more time, so we need to like make quarterly marks that we want to hit, like a draft 1 and a draft 2, and now we're looking at images and such of how that's going to plan out. It's not going to
Yeah.
all happen in 2 weeks, you know. So that's how I've at least works really well for me, at least for the setting part. But now I'm starting to do a little bit more reflection on what didn't work before, so I can improve that now. Which is one of my questions for you is like, what did you have in 2025? Which now that we're going into 2026, like you're
Yeah.
not settling for. It's just not coming with you to 2026.
What's one thing in 2025 that is not coming with me in 2026? That's a very good question. I
Because
think
you're in the hot seat.
I think yeah, I think I'm gonna have to think this through. Because okay, this is a whole nother topic, but I got a similar question with you actually the other day, and I couldn't think of an answer because like I'm so like I train my brain to be so freaking positive and optimistic that honestly the bad things like just block out. So it looks like you have an answer. If you want to go ahead and answer while I think about my answer, go ahead and do that.
That is fair. My biggest thing, mindset, of course, is really important of just hushing, quieting all those negative thoughts, the
Yeah.
limiting beliefs, focusing on more gratitude, just
Yeah.
rewiring my brain just to be like, everything is sunshiny and fantastic. And I mean, we just practiced gratitude this weekend with some ladies, and I've had like the most fulfilling day of just everything's just kind of worked, been on time. I got like the top floor. I got to check in at 10 a.m. and I wasn't supposed to check in until like 3 p.m. And it's an extremely busy event.
Nice.
And I'm just like shocked of just having a positive mindset really brings in more positivity around you.
Hmm.
But to be completely honest, the biggest thing I need to change, and I know I have sent you so many voice memos about stories this year. We
Let's just call them stories.
Yes, we're leaving at stories for now. We'll see if we'll get into it, but we are setting boundaries this year in my relationships,
Hmm.
specifically with
In the
gentlemen.
concrete. The
Yes.
line in the concrete.
Yes, lines will not be crossed. They have to add value to my life or they are not going to be in it. But I am bad at setting boundaries even in friendships. So overall, it's something that I'm going to work on because I don't like conflict. But then you can have
Hmm.
internal conflicts
Yeah.
versus easy resolution, which
Right.
is being like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. So that's all things that I'm working on next year, and then leaving behind any sort of individual that's not valuing or adding value to my life.
Hmm.
So don't know if that
100%.
generated any
No.
brainstormies on your side.
Yes. No. As soon as you started talking, I thought about the one thing that I will not be bringing with me to 2026. And that thing is something that actually I've been carrying not only 2025, but all of my life, I think. And it's I've stopped things that I wanted to do just for the fear of what people think of me or not criticism. Because if you come to me and you say, oh, I don't like this about you, or I don't like that you're doing this, I don't care. Like, I could care less what you tell me to my face. Like, I really don't care what you think of me. As long as I know that I'm a good person and that I haven't done anything bad to you, I'm dandy. But for some reason, I've stopped doing a lot of things or I didn't even start because of the fear of, oh no, like if I start doing this just because it's something that I really want to do, what would people think of me? Like just the idea of the thought of people thinking of me that way terrified me. And the reality is people don't care about you. You
Mm-hmm.
realize that you're insignificant to other people, you really are.
So real
Like
though.
if it's not your friend, if it's not your family, the people who really love you and care about you, that something happens to you tomorrow, they're the ones who are going to be there. You are insignificant. Those views on Instagram, the story views, the likes, that nothing matters. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to be there in the bad times or the good times. So why would I even care? But it's still like it did bother me and I hate that it did. I hate it because I stopped doing many things, so I didn't even start projects because of that fear. That's something that I will not be bringing with me to 2026 or ever again. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it because I want to do it and that's it. Period.
I was about to say period, but you're thinking the same
Yeah.
thing I was thinking. No, I love that.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
is a really. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah. Okay. So now for the girls out there who maybe haven't set any goals before, or who just getting back into it, or who's just starting to set the goals for the new year, what are some like really good tips that you have on how to set them and set them good? I know we already said a few, like the quarterly, break it down and everything, but what is something else I want to share with them?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I there is some people I've talked to because this is the season where I'm just like, cool, these are the things I'm doing and prepping, where
Yeah.
everyone has a different capacity to making goals as well. Like, no, I'm good with like this is just like my one thing or my one word for the year. And it can be hard because I'm like, whoa, no, I just did like hours and hours of planning for the year. What do you mean? And sometimes it's a skill that you also have to grow and learn with. It may not be like you listen to
Yeah.
this podcast and are like, cool, now I all of a sudden know all the things I want to write down.
Oh no.
It's definitely a growth to learn. To make a long story short, when I was up north living in, a small town in Michigan, my goals were very small because I just hadn't seen what was
Small
available.
town, small entire environment. Yeah.
Exactly. And it was just like my biggest goal, which was cool at the time. I was like, I'm going to be a CEO. I'm either going to own my own company or I'm going to be a CEO of a Fortune 5 company. I'm going to own it. Like that is the dream. That's everything I'm going for. And I had like one goal. That was the goal. And that is nowhere near inside. Like that is not the goal anymore. I will most likely own my own company, but I will not be working for a Fortune 500 as their CEO, no matter how cool that does sound. But that is a skill to continuously practice and just really sit down. A lot of people don't sit with themselves and go, okay, what's really going to make me happy?
Yeah.
Probably the pink Lamborghini at the end of the day isn't going to make me super happy. It will be so fun to drive and it'll be cool. And it will be like all the hard work is poured into
Yeah,
something
but
that
is it
like
gonna
I like.
fulfill you? No.
Exactly. What's going to fulfill me is our girls' trip to Bali and Ibiza. And it's just learning to like put those intentions out there. That's the difference. Is okay. Once you figure out what exactly you want to do, it's just having the intention set, or else it's not going to happen. Writing it down, talking about it to other people. So many people say like, "Oh, don't share your goals with other people." No, you want them to push you. You want to be like, "Okay, we're
Yeah.
booking it yet? We got to
Do
show
you
up at
have
the
it yet?
airport."
Yeah.
3 hours before. So just take it small. Just start thinking what's going to truly be fulfilling for you. What energizes you, gets you excited when you're thinking about it. That was the shift this year. When I was
Right.
thinking about being a CEO, I probably wasn't really excited about it. It was more like the
Yeah.
lore and like, cool, I could be this title, I could make all this money. But now when I'm thinking about starting my own business and helping people, and that part is lighting me up. I'm energized. I'm thinking about it when I wake up in the morning. I know that's going to be something that I'm going to be able to achieve and I'm going to be fulfilled by it. So when you're thinking about what goals to write down, feel the energy you have. If you're excited, you may be scared or nervous,
Yeah.
but that's probably a sign that this is actually going to be worth it.
Yeah.
But feel if that excitement's there and that drive is continuously there.
I love first thing you need to do if you're first time setting the goals or setting the goals for the year. First thing is get clarity on what you truly want without other people's opinions. Like it's not what daddy wants, it's not what mommy wants, what people around you and Instagram want. No, it's what you want. Get clarity on what you want. Then sit down and write it down for every specific area of your life. Like visualize and write down the person you want to be on December 2026. Like what would she wear? What would she feel? What would she eat? Where would she go? Or her friends like? Literally picture everything. What would your life look like in 2026? And then break down the goals for the year and then break those goals into quarterly and then make them SMART goals. If you've never heard the acronym SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Time bound is my favorite and that comes with the quarterly. It's like if you don't put a deadline to something, it's never going to happen or it might take years to happen. So let's say an example, if you're trying to get in shape, that a goal cannot be written down as I want to get in shape. Hell no. You need to write down and actually write it down in present tense. I am working out on strength 4 times a week. This date on this date on whatever to lose whatever amount of weight. And I'm going to make this happen by, I don't know, March 30th. Like that's it. Like make it realistic, specific, measurable, and put a timeline on it. If not, it may never happen. It may happen next year, it may happen the next year, but it's you're not gonna have real urgency to work on it if you don't put a deadline to it. And then my best tip, write it down every single day. And again, when I first heard this, I was like, this is stupid. Is the best thing you could do because then you see it every day. And if your brain sees something every single day, you're not gonna have another chance but to work on it. Like there, that's it. You're gonna work on it and you're gonna start seeing opportunity where you didn't see it before because you're looking at it every single day. That's my 2 cents. And I think this conversation has been really good. I've had a lot of fun with you, Audrey, today.
Same. Yes. I do actually have one more note as we're wrapping this up. Just on the key piece there of writing in present tense.
Mm-hmm.
Take a moment, write a letter to your future self.
Mm,
The future self of you being December 31st of
right.
2026, where you're at, what you're doing, how you feel, what you've accomplished, all present tense, and the goals that you're doing. Seal that John up. Don't open it. Don't look at it. Put it away. Put a timer on your phone, something to remind you to pull that back out and read it December 30th.
I love that. Okay, guys, you have homework. Now go ahead and work on your goals. We're going to do the same because we're still finishing up ours. So we're right there with you. We're trying not to quit every single day.
Doing my
If you're
best.
listening, I know. If you're listening to this right now, thank you so much for listening. We love you. Please go follow us on Instagram at Two Girls Trying Not to Quit. We post really funny things in there and we'll be posting more. Again, bear with us because this content journey is not easy and we're definitely trying not to quit every single day.
We're both not creators, but hey, we have new mics. I am sort of have a voice, but we're figuring it out as we go. It's all a
We're
journey,
making it happen. We're
part of the
making it happen.
process.
I know. I know, but hopefully this helped you at least in a little bit. And if it did, let us know because this is why we do what we do. Like we want to just be ourselves and help people from our perspective and what we've learned so far. We're not gurus, we're not anything. We're just two girls navigating life. And if this helped you in any way, just let us know because we want to hear from you. Okay, so we'll see you in the next episode of Two Girls Trying Not to Quit. Bye.